What is Amazon A+ content and why do you need it?
Amazon A+ content is that big piece of information you get when you scroll down on your Amazon page past all your images. It's under a description called product description. It's the meat and potatoes of what you're trying to sell here.
When you see clients come in, is it something you see that a lot of people are neglecting or doing incorrectly?
Yes. Think of it as a booklet tag. Say you're shopping for maybe a winter jacket and you know you want something that's waterproof and gonna sustain really cool temperatures. When you go to the store and you pick one off the rack, you don't really have that information. You're going to see if they have a booklet label. Maybe you ask a sales associate. That's the same as A+. We're giving you all the information you need to make an educated decision.
Ready to expand your marketing strategy into CTV ads? Roku, yes, the same Roku that powers nearly half of all TV streaming in the US, has just launched a game-changing self-service advertising platform custom-built for CTV performance. Introducing Roku Ads Manager. Roku Ads Manager was built with growth marketers in mind. Roku's CTV algorithms optimize your ads in real time, effectively reaching your target audience at scale. Meanwhile, interactive action ads, our integration with Shopify and other performance features, make it easy for you to run ads for your viewers to convert directly from their Roku remote or mobile phone. It's easy to set up your first campaign. Head over to advertising.roku.com/DTC and get started today for as little as $500. It's time to take your CTV ads to the next level with Roku Ads Manager. It's all killer, no filler. I'm Eric, and this is the D2C podcast. And today we are back with Pilothouse's Amazon team, and we have a new first-time appearance on the D2C podcast. Sabrina, content manager for Amazon for Pilothouse. Welcome to the D2C podcast. How you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to dive into Amazon with you.
Well, we've got returning vet Rob, of course, here for backup. And today what we're talking about is Amazon A+. So Sabrina, why don't you kick us off? What is Amazon A+ content and why do you need it?
So Amazon A+ content is that big, bulky piece of information you get when you scroll down on your Amazon page past all your images, past a message from the brand, and it's under a description called product description. So it gives you all kind of like the meat and potatoes of what you're trying to sell here. So it's kind of your last big chance to convince your customer, this product's for you, this is why you want it. And if your customer's already reading your A+, you're almost there. You just got to keep it going, get that final push to sell.
And when you see clients come in, is it something you see that a lot of people are neglecting or doing incorrectly?
Yes.
Yes, straight up yes.
Yes. There are so many ways to do A+ content. There's old A+, which a lot of clients have. And then there's this brand new, pretty premium A+, which we strive to get to for all of our brands and as fast as we can because it's gorgeous.
Nice. Rob, what's your take on A+?
Yeah, so A+ content's like your biggest kind of creative section on the listing. Like you've got your listing images, of course, but below the fold, A+. So it can be a spot to really reinforce selling points, add additional value, or potentially showcase different products within the catalog. So you can take it a lot of different options depending on kind of what direction you need to go for that brand. We see simpler, less complex products lean towards branding and white space and just making the A+ content really beautiful while hitting like the main selling points. But for example, more complex products, for example, like a higher end pickleball paddle, where we know customers want the detail. They want to know the specs, the weight, the size, the shape, the power, the control. Like we're going to dive a lot more into detail within the A+, and that's the place to really provide that content to a customer. So anyway, if you can understand what your customer is looking to learn from A+, then you can take it in the direction that you need to ultimately get that conversion.
You've got a note here, Sabrina, about putting us in the mindset of a customer on the page. Walk us through how you see A+ really sort of in the mind of a customer.
So I kind of look at A+ as writing a novel as opposed to writing a short story being your listing images. So you have to be prepared to settle in, focus, get the right imagery, get the right words, get that novel ready for your customers. So first step is, why has your customer come here? Why are they reading your A+? What is it that they want to learn that you might not learn from the listing images? So a lot of times people are coming to Amazon to solve a problem. So I like to try and think of, okay, what are maybe 3, 4 problems that people want to solve with this product, and start from there. So just logically, graphically, nicely in a design way, put your mind in the customer's shoes and try and build them a piece of art that sells them on the features and benefits and why your product is so much better than everyone else's. What's special about it? What can it do in your life that you're looking to have done?
And then what's the actual format? Is it all one big HTML like image? Is it a series of images that you just provide? What's the actual format of A+ content?
So they're built in modules. Current A+ for customers or clients, brands who don't have premium is you get 5 tiles. So they just look like little graphics, and there is space in between them. So you build just a graphic with as much information and images as you can. But when you get to premium, you get to go up to 7 modules, and they become super HD, much larger, and there's no white space in between anymore. It's a continuous scroll, so your backgrounds can blend and can look like one big, long web page, really.
And Premium A+, is it something you have to pay extra for, or is it included?
So this is very exciting. About a year or 2 years ago, Amazon started offering Premium A+ free of charge if you met a certain amount of criteria. So your criteria needed to be at least 5 pieces. Well, at the time it was 15. Ugh, now it's 5. Thank God.
Okay.
So 5 pieces of A+ within the year. And every product you have in your catalog needed to be attached to a brand story. So once you hit that, Amazon opened up this world of Premium A+ for free, and it's been a game changer. You can add videos, you can add hotspots, moving carousels. It just gives a lot more customer interaction, and it's just so much nicer to look at.
So what specifically then, maybe Rob, what are specifically some of the like tips or guides about what like actually how to design these, what not to do, what you see people do incorrectly with these?
Yeah, I'll let Sabrina tackle some of that piece. As far as like what people do incorrectly, I would say not creating content that flows nicely, leaning like too heavy on text. I mean, you can create something that's quite beautiful within Premium Plus content, especially. I'd say other things is not having a nice flow of like understanding the actual like journey of a customer through A+. Like if it's pretty disjointed, like you've got, I don't know, you're introducing a bunch of the catalog, you're talking about the brand, you're not really adding much value, you just kind of like make it just graphically just not nice. Or, I mean, probably the biggest mistake we see is people just not utilizing it. And that might be standard or premium, just not having it at all.
And then, Sabrina, go in a little more depth about how you think about actually how to build each of these out and what sort of any tips or tricks you have about what to do. So
what I like to do is always introduce my product with a little bit of branding. So if there's something really specific about the brand, somewhere they've been featured in or some kind of special, powerful messaging, start with that and intro your product and dive into what makes this product so special. So whether it's a 360 tour on a really big tile with a big, nice product shot showing off all the different features and benefits, or you could even go into, with Premium A+, a carousel and just whip through some of your benefits of the product via the carousel, which is a sweet little tip because if you only get 7 modules, your carousel can give you about 5 extra because you get to go through it. It's not just one piece, it's a moving module. So I love putting some benefits in there to get more of my information across.
I see you've got a note here about question and answers module. That reminds me almost of like people replying to TikToks or whatever, where you have the question there and then they answer it. Talk about the question and answer format for this.
So for the Q&A, this one is not as pretty as building your own graphics, but it's a cool feature that you can use. It's great to get ahead of reviews. So if you have a product that maybe is getting some negative reviews or you fear that it might get some negative reviews, you can kind of combat that right away in your A+. So leave a question that's pretty common that you would get about your product and answer it with a positive twist, even though it's a negative. And so just get ahead of that and try. And then people, if they're going to still leave you a negative review, they're going to. It's sometimes you can't get away from that. But at least this gives you a leg up in trying to avoid those.
It's kind of like asking leading questions to set a customer up for a really positive first experience. So any sort of like information or objection you can handle. And this is typical with like if you just know a customer might use a product wrong the first time, or if you know that they're going to expect results sooner than they should, say it's like a skincare product or a beauty product where it's going to take a week, couple weeks, month for them to actually see the results that they're looking for, then priming them ahead of time with that expectation you can do via Q&A.
And are these images that you're using really nice like graphical overlays on, or are you trying to make them more, are you using more just like real world imagery? Is it things that are sort of like really salesy and splashy in a high design type of way, or are you trying to make them look more sort of naturalistic and just sort of photos of things?
So that really depends on your brand and, what kind of branding you'd like. But in my opinion, you make it hit home with your customer. You make it lifestyle, you make it beautiful, you make it feel like it's fitting in, not just like a slapped on image in any kind of stock kitchen or stock living room, You've got to try and pull some heartstrings with this. This is your last chance. This is it.
And it's the only chance for that kind of thing in the Amazon environment, right? Because you're sort of like, they're so restrictive about how you're displaying your product and what you're saying about it. This is where you can play a little jazz a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of think of it as like a booklet tag. So if you're shopping, just say you're shopping for maybe a winter jacket and you want something that's waterproof and going to sustain really cold temperatures and fit in your washing machine, be washable. When you go to the store and you pick one off the rack, you don't really have that information, right? You might read the label, but that might not tell you. So you're going to see if they have a booklet label. Maybe you do a quick Google search on your phone. Maybe you ask a sales associate. That's the same as A+. A+, we're giving you all the information you need to make an educated decision, and hopefully it's our product.
So how do you know if your A+ content is good? Are you I guess you can see where people are clicking, but like what are some metrics or some thought processes on how you can tell if it's good or not?
So not many metrics, but we do have the ability to A/B test on A+. So I love doing an A/B test on A+, where it's the same kind of two screens, but maybe there's a video at the top of one and no video at the other one. Or there's a product grid on one, which kind of cross sells and shows you all the other products we have to offer, but not on the other. And from that, we can see after we test for 4 or 5 or 6 weeks, we can see, okay, which one does better? What does our customer like to see? Do they like the interaction? Do they like the cross-selling? Do they prefer to watch a video? I mean, who wouldn't? Videos are primo space.
Totally.
Yes. On that, like ultimately there's not a metric tied directly to A+ that says, hey, here's how your A+ is doing, but you're looking at listing conversion rate. Like that's going to be your metric. So to be mindful of that, if you're not doing a structured A/B test within the A/B testing feature within Amazon, then you have to isolate some variables and understand when you changed A+ or added A+, what was the impact. Using Amazon's A/B testing feature is going to be the best way to actually isolate data and understand like what is the difference between one A+ and the next, as long as you have enough traffic to your listing to make that statistically significant and get good data on it. I will say though, but Amazon's published number on this says premium A+ content will boost conversions by roughly 20%.
Very cool. And then you also have a note here about potentially using it to cross-sell or upsell, so you can show it with other products in your suite of products.
Yeah. So there's different ways you can go about doing that. Using a hotspot is a premium A+ feature that's pretty excellent. So I've done it before where you have a nice stylized image of all your products nicely together, depending on how many you have. 5 or 6 feels nice. And you can just hover over each product and it gives you the name of the product and a little bit of information about it. So that's a way where you can say, hey, it's not just this. We also sell this, this, and this. And these are the reasons why you'd want it in a hotspot. Another way to do it is in a carousel. So you can do one product per carousel page with a little note saying, click through to see what else we have to offer you. Another way you can do it is through a product grid of showing all your products. It'll list some reviews, it'll list your pricing, and you can choose different metrics that you want to add into it. I like to stick with 3 key benefits. If it's ingestible, the nutrients inside of it and how many you take per day, you get to choose your metrics. So it's pretty cool that way.
Can you give me an example? What are some, just for people listening and they want to go check out like amazing A+ content? It can either be ones that you guys really love or ones that maybe you've worked on. Is there any brands out there that you'd sort of point to say these guys are just crushing A+ content?
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few. In the UK, we have Wild Nutrition. Theirs is really beautiful. They have different products, product ranges that have different colors associated with them. So each of their A plus uses those colors to differentiate them. In the US, we have things like Selkirk pickleball. That's really, really nice and bold. It's bright and it shows you exactly what you need. It gives you the features and benefits as well. There's a lot of different ones that we have available, actually. Rob, is there anything else that sticks out to you?
Four Sigmatic's been on the podcast. Their A plus is gorgeous. Big Blanket's longstanding client. Their A plus is gorgeous as well. They've got some really fun branding to play with, some like cheeky, some humor, which is nice to bring into things.
They're a really fun one to work with. They're giant blankets, so you can imagine how much fun we can have playing around with the comparison between these huge blankets and regular small ones.
I know we talk all the time on this podcast about sort of performance branding, and it seems like A plus really is that place to kind of establish your brand and how people feel about the brand. Which is something that really is limited on Amazon overall. Rob, maybe speak a little bit to how you see A plus content featuring overall into the customer and brand experience.
Yeah, what's been cool is like over the last few years, we've seen like Amazon roll out, even rolling out premium to all sellers. Like they're making moves like that to make Amazon more of a home for brands and more friendly for brands, to really give brands the control to build an experience that makes someone feel like you're not just shopping Amazon, that you're shopping the brand. I would say from an overall like or a brand perspective, like full funnel, like your content, your A plus content on Amazon is going to match all your brand guidelines. And of course, like that similar feel, it's going to be more bottom of funnel content focused though. You probably don't need to spend as much time like telling the brand story within A plus as you do selling someone on why they need this particular product. So definitely more bottom of funnel language. On the brand story piece, typically I would put that within the store to really, if you're going to tell a brand story, someone's new to brand, like give someone an option to learn that. But focusing A plus more so on those bottom of funnel language, bottom of funnel benefits that you may already have from your other channels, understanding like what actually drives the conversion.
Totally agree. And I just wanted to add that your brand story on Amazon lives right above your A plus. So if you're worried about not being able to include enough brand information, just look up. It's right there. The customer's going to see it first. You have all the space you need for that. Really focus in on that product.
Nice. So if you are out there and you like take a look at your content, if it's just not there, review this podcast and then either come work with Pilothouse. Obviously, that's what we love to talk about. But if you're working with another agency, just basically go and tell them to step it up. Is it, I guess other agencies are really focused on A plus as well. And sort of that's like anyone who's working with a digital agency right now, their agency should be able to be like, okay, we got to improve these images.
I would hope so.
Yeah. I would think so. There's various agencies out there. There's some that, of course, focus more on the performance or just purely the advertising side of things. There's some that focus purely on creative. I imagine there's a lot just like us that kind of do both under one roof. But yeah, definitely look into it and take a peek at yours. And then if you're still running standard, know that premium's free and available for you to get access to and roll out because I think you'll be pleased with the results.
Nice. Sabrina, anything else we didn't cover here from your notes about A plus content?
The last thing I think I wanted to talk about is giving some social proof. At the end of your A plus, it's a really nice location to just give, even if it's just a panel of happy customers, UGC. It's a fun way to incorporate some kind of lifestyle shots. Give the customer that final push of, hey, this could be you. Look at our happy customers. Look at these reviews, and just include some of that kind of social proof and just push to buy at the end.
Are there any restrictions? Like what I know Amazon, there's all sorts of restrictions about how you do everything on Amazon. Are there any major restrictions that people need to be aware of about these images and what they'll accept and what they won't? No, yeah, it's free for all.
Yes, there's lots of restrictions. Be very careful, but Amazon will flag you if you've written something or in your image there's something that can't go through. Things like trademarks and registered marks, only at the top of your A plus. You can't have it throughout all of your A plus. It'll not let you put that one through. Certain language about being eco-friendly or compostable. Find creative ways to talk about that because they get a little iffy with that one too.
Good shout. Any others that you know of, Rob?
I mean, just all the standard language stuff that you would avoid in like your title bullet list, like back-end keywords, like all that stuff, still avoid it within A+, just because it's hidden within an image doesn't necessarily make it free game. I know there's somewhat iffy around like reviews, so there's guidelines around how to do that, so just follow those.
What about befores and afters? Can you do befores and afters like you can't on Meta?
We can do them.
You can do them. Before and afters, baby.
Yeah.
That's, nice.
Try to be truthful, but you can do them.
ABT, always be truthful. Great debut, by the way, on I think that went extremely smoothly.
Thank you.
Yeah, so let us know if you're out there and you've got A+ content that needs work. Always just shoot us an email, and I'm sure Rob and Sabrina would be happy to take a look at it for you. I was just looking, there's no big Bezos news to cover. Usually we have Clifford saying snarky things about Bezos, but we don't have that today. So anything high level from your side?
I don't know. I was down at the Amazon Accelerate last week, which was super fun to go to and just
nice.
Kind of meet a bunch of the Amazon crowd. Met some new connections at Amazon. Had a great time down in Seattle. Saw one of the Amazon offices, which was pretty cool to step inside of. And yeah, unfortunately didn't run into Bezos anywhere. Didn't get the chance to take him out for a beer, but maybe next time.
Tell him all of Clifford's complaints. How dared Amazon run an event during C-Suite, during our event? We had Clifford tied up at C-Suite, our mastermind that we put on last week. And it was great to dive in a little bit with Rick from Four Sigmatic about some of the exciting things that Pilothouse is kind of doing them. We actually had, with our speakers and guests, we had Pilothouse Amazon really well represented, I think, whether it's Santa Via or whether it's any of these other great brands that we're working with that are all really thrilled with the work you guys are doing. It was awesome. So big shout out to that.
Oh, awesome. That's great to hear. I'm sorry I missed the event. We had to divide and conquer on that one.
That's right. Next time we'll just tell Jeff not to be booking events when we're trying to do a mastermind here. So
I'll shoot him a text.
Priorities. All right. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Eric.
See you later.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you're not getting the D2C newsletter, you can subscribe for free at directtoconsumer.co. And if you want to learn more about Pilothouse's all-killer, no-filler services, take off to pilothouse.co. I'm Eric Dick, and this has been the D2C Podcast. We'll see you next time.